The laboratory hummed with quiet intensity as Dr. Jae-Hwang Kim adjusted the microscope, his fingers moving with practiced precision. The stark white walls and gleaming equipment surrounded him, a testament to years of dedicated research. Outside, the window, Seoul's morning light began to creep across the floor, casting long shadows between the research stations. Something felt different today. Jae-Hwang couldn't explain it, but a peculiar sensation buzzed at the edge of his consciousness. His current experiment involved cellular regeneration protocols, nothing extraordinary by typical standards. He had been working on genetic modification techniques for nearly a decade, and most days blended into a monotonous routine of careful measurements and meticulous documentation. The first anomaly appeared quietly, a slight shimmer in the cellular structure, almost imperceptible. Most researchers would have missed it, but Jae-Hwang's keen eye caught the subtle change. He leaned closer, adjusting the microscope's focus, watching as the genetic sequence began to behave in ways he had never witnessed before. The genetic markers started to realign themselves, creating intricate patterns that defied standard biological understanding. Where normal cellular structures would remain static, these seemed to pulse with an intelligent, adaptive energy. Jae-Hwang's breath caught in his throat. His research assistant, Yoon-seo Park, walked in with fresh coffee, her footsteps breaking the laboratory's silence. "Doctor," she called, "did you want—" She stopped mid-sentence, noticing the intense concentration etched across Jae-Hwang's face. "Look at this," he whispered, not taking his eyes off the microscope. Yoon-seo moved closer, her own scientific curiosity piqued. The cellular sample showed remarkable characteristics: rapid regeneration, unprecedented molecular flexibility, and what seemed like an internal communication network far more complex than any previously documented genetic structure. Jae-Hwang's hands moved swiftly, capturing data, running quick computational analyses. The results were extraordinary. This wasn't just a minor mutation or a random genetic variation. This was something fundamentally different. Little did they know, thousands of miles away, a group of extraterrestrial researchers were monitoring Earth's scientific developments. Their advanced sensors had detected the unique quantum-level interactions happening in Jae-Hwang's laboratory. What appeared to be a simple genetic experiment was about to become something far more significant. Hours passed. Jae-Hwang ran multiple tests, each confirmation more exciting than the last. The genetic sequence he had accidentally discovered demonstrated capabilities that could revolutionize human understanding of biological potential, enhanced cellular regeneration, improved genetic stability, and what appeared to be an adaptive mechanism that could potentially modify itself in response to environmental challenges. Director Hyun-woo Kang entered the laboratory, his usual stern demeanor softened by curiosity. "Report," he said simply, understanding that Jae-Hwang's excitement meant something substantial had occurred. As Jae-Hwang began explaining his findings, the genetic sample continued its silent transformation. Unbeknownst to the researchers, it was preparing for something much larger than a simple laboratory experiment. The day wore on, with each passing hour bringing new revelations. Yoon-seo worked alongside Jae-Hwang, running additional tests, verifying data, her excitement matching his. They were standing at the precipice of a potential scientific breakthrough. By late afternoon, they had confirmed what seemed impossible, a genetic sequence that could potentially enhance human capabilities beyond current understanding. Not just a minor improvement, but a fundamental reimagining of human biological potential. Jae-Hwang looked up from his workstation, a mix of excitement and trepidation in his eyes. He knew that what they had discovered could change everything. Humanity stood on the brink of an evolutionary leap, and it had started in this quiet laboratory in the heart of Seoul. Little did he know that his accidental discovery would soon attract attention far beyond the scientific community, attention that would come from unexpected and extraordinary sources. The genetic sample continued its silent, remarkable transformation, holding secrets that would soon reshape the future of human existence. The monitoring station hummed with quiet energy, a network of advanced sensors, tracking countless scientific developments across the galaxy. In this hidden facility, far beyond human perception, a group of researchers studied the unexpected genetic discovery made by Dr. Jae-Hwang Kim. Arya, the lead researcher, studied the holographic display with intense concentration. Her fingers moved gracefully across the translucent interface, zooming into the cellular structures captured from the Seoul laboratory. The genetic sequence pulsed with an unusual energy, unlike anything they had observed in centuries of galactic research. "This is remarkable," she whispered to her colleague Sung-Min Lee. The holographic image showed intricate molecular patterns that seemed to dance and reconfigure themselves. Each movement suggested an intelligence far beyond typical genetic structures. Sung-Min nodded, his eyes reflecting the blue-green light of the display. "Humans rarely understand the potential of their own discoveries," he remarked. "This scientist has no idea what he's actually created." The research collective had been observing Earth for generations, watching humanity's slow but persistent scientific progress. They had seen countless potential breakthroughs, but this was different. This genetic sequence represented something more than a simple scientific achievement. It was a potential key to accelerated evolutionary development. Communication protocols were complex. They couldn't simply reveal themselves or directly intervene. The delicate balance of scientific discovery required a subtle approach. Intervention had to be careful, almost invisible. Arya began preparing a communication strategy. They would need to guide Dr. Kim without him realizing the full extent of their involvement. Subtle nudges, carefully placed research opportunities, indirect collaboration. These would be their tools. A complex algorithm began working, analyzing potential communication channels. They would need to make contact in a way that seemed completely natural to human scientific processes. No direct alien intervention could be detected. Meanwhile, in the Seoul laboratory, Dr. Jae-Hwang Kim continued his research, completely unaware of the extraterrestrial attention he had attracted. His dedication, his pure scientific curiosity, made him the perfect candidate for this extraordinary journey. The research collective had specific criteria for potential evolutionary catalysts. Dr. Kim matched almost every parameter: brilliant but not arrogant, curious but methodical, ambitious but ethical. His accidental discovery was more than just a scientific breakthrough. It was a potential turning point for human development. Sung-Min prepared a series of encrypted data packets. These would be strategically introduced into global scientific networks, providing subtle hints and research directions that would guide Dr. Kim's work. Each packet was designed to appear like a normal scientific communication, blending seamlessly with existing research channels. "We cannot rush this," Arya reminded her team. "Human scientific development must appear organic. Any hint of external manipulation could destroy the entire potential." The genetic sequence continued to fascinate them. It showed adaptability beyond their initial expectations. Each computational model suggested increasingly complex potential developments. If successful, this could accelerate human evolutionary potential by centuries. Hours passed. Computational models ran continuously, predicting potential outcomes, analyzing risks, calculating intervention strategies. The research collective worked with patience, understanding that true scientific revolution happened gradually. Their mission was clear: guide humanity towards its next evolutionary stage without direct interference. Dr. Jae-Hwang Kim would become the unwitting architect of this transformation, his accidental discovery serving as the catalyst for unprecedented human potential. As night fell in Seoul and the laboratory grew quiet, the first subtle communications were prepared. Research grants would mysteriously appear, subtle networking connections would activate, and gentle guidance would begin. Dr. Kim would soon receive opportunities that seemed like natural scientific progression. He would never know the true extent of the support behind his research. The extraterrestrial researchers watched and waited, their advanced technology creating invisible bridges between humanity's current state and its potential future. One genetic sequence, discovered by accident in a quiet laboratory, held the promise of transforming an entire species. And Dr. Jae-Hwang Kim, unaware of the cosmic attention, would continue his work, the first step towards humanity's extraordinary evolution. Dr. Jae-Hwang Kim sat in a specially designed research facility that seemed to exist between reality and something entirely different. Sleek white walls curved in impossible angles, and equipment that looked both familiar and alien surrounded him. Holographic displays flickered with genetic sequences that danced like living artwork. His research partner, Dr. Yoon Seo Park, worked silently beside him. Something had changed in their research environment. Resources appeared mysteriously. Advanced equipment arrived without explanation. Funding seemed unlimited, and bureaucratic obstacles simply vanished. These molecular structures, Jae-Hwang muttered, they're not just changing, they're communicating. The genetic sequence he had accidentally discovered was no longer just a scientific curiosity. It had become something more, a living, adaptive system that seemed to understand its own potential. Each test revealed increasingly complex capabilities that defied current scientific understanding. Cellular regeneration was just the beginning. The genetic modification demonstrated abilities that seemed pulled from science fiction. Damaged tissues repaired themselves instantly. Cognitive processing showed remarkable improvements. The human body's limitations appeared to be nothing more than temporary constraints. One morning, a mysterious package arrived. Inside were research documents that seemed to bridge gaps in their current understanding. Documents that appeared to be from multiple global research institutions, yet somehow perfectly aligned with their current work. Yoon Seo noticed something peculiar. The research notes seemed to anticipate their next steps, providing solutions to problems they hadn't even fully formulated yet. It was as if someone, or something, was guiding their research. The first human volunteers were carefully selected. Scientists and researchers who understood the potential risks, individuals with a deep commitment to scientific progress. Their initial tests were conducted with extreme caution. The results were beyond extraordinary. A retired military scientist showed complete restoration of neural pathways damaged decades ago. A mathematician demonstrated cognitive capabilities that seemed to expand exponentially. A medical researcher's body showed accelerated healing that challenged everything known about human physiology. Jae-Hwang documented everything meticulously. Each result was more incredible than the last. The genetic protocol didn't just modify human capabilities. It seemed to unlock potential that had been dormant within human DNA for millennia. Government agencies began taking notice. Some saw potential, others saw threat. Classified meetings happened in secure locations discussing the implications of this breakthrough. But Jae-Hwang and Yoon Seo remained focused. They understood they were working on something far bigger than themselves. This wasn't just a scientific discovery. This was a potential evolutionary leap for humanity. The extraterrestrial researchers watched silently. Their quantum sensors tracked every development, every molecular change. What appeared to be a human scientific breakthrough was actually a carefully orchestrated intervention. Ethical debates erupted in scientific communities worldwide. Could humanity be trusted with such transformative technology? What were the potential risks? What were the potential benefits? Jae-Hwang understood the weight of their discovery. This wasn't about creating superhumans. This was about unlocking human potential, about helping humanity overcome its current limitations. The genetic protocol showed remarkable adaptability. It didn't force change but invited transformation. Each human body responded uniquely, suggesting that the modification respected individual genetic diversity. Weeks turned into months. The research progressed. More volunteers joined. More data was collected. The scientific world watched with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Something fundamental was changing. Humanity stood at the edge of a new evolutionary frontier. And Dr. Jae-Hwang Kim, the accidental discoverer of this remarkable genetic sequence, was leading the way. Little did he know that his work was being subtly guided by observers who had watched human potential for millennia. His discovery was not just a scientific breakthrough, It was the first step towards humanity's cosmic integration. The transformation had begun. The world erupted in chaos when news of the genetic transformation protocol leaked. Government agencies, scientific institutions, and media outlets scrambled to understand the implications of Dr. Jae-Hwang Kim's revolutionary discovery. In Washington, high-level security meetings turned heated. Military strategists saw both potential and threat. Some viewed the genetic protocol as a weapon, others as humanity's greatest scientific achievement. Classified documents circulated through encrypted channels, each page marked with warnings of unprecedented global impact. Dr. Kim found himself at the center of a storm he never anticipated. Researchers who once supported him now questioned his methods. Government officials demanded complete transparency. International scientific communities divided into two camps, those who saw potential and those who saw danger. A global coalition formed overnight. Some governments attempted to suppress the research while others invested heavily in understanding its capabilities. The first human volunteers became walking controversies, their enhanced abilities both fascinating and terrifying to the public. Protests erupted in major cities. Religious groups claimed the research challenged fundamental human nature. Ethical committees demanded immediate halt to all genetic modification experiments. Scientific journals published conflicting reports, each more sensational than the last. But Dr. Jae-Hwang and his team remained focused. They understood the protocol's true potential far beyond the political noise. Each test revealed more remarkable capabilities: enhanced cognitive functions, accelerated healing, improved physical resilience. The breakthrough came unexpectedly during a critical test. A volunteer, a former cancer patient, demonstrated complete cellular regeneration. Medical scans showed no trace of previous disease. Damaged neural pathways restored themselves. It was more than healing. It was transformation. International pressure mounted. Some countries threatened legal action. Others proposed immediate, global restrictions. But the scientific community was divided. Brilliant minds from around the world began to see the protocol's true potential. Unexpected allies emerged. A group of leading researchers from diverse fields started supporting Dr. Kim's work. They saw beyond the immediate controversy, recognizing the potential for solving fundamental human limitations. The extraterrestrial observers watched carefully. Their quantum sensors tracked every development, every human reaction. This was precisely the point of potential they had anticipated for generations. Governments began secret negotiations. Some wanted to control the technology. Others feared being left behind in this potential evolutionary leap. Intelligence agencies worked overtime, collecting every possible piece of information about the genetic protocol. Dr. Kim received threats. Anonymous messages warned him to stop his research. But he remained calm, understanding the magnitude of their discovery. Each challenge only confirmed the importance of their work. The first public demonstrations became turning points. Volunteers, with enhanced capabilities, showed abilities that challenged human understanding. A paralyzed scientist walking, a mathematician solving complex problems in seconds, a doctor healing injuries instantly. Media coverage exploded. Social platforms buzzed with discussions, debates, and conspiracy theories. The world watched as humanity stood on the brink of a potential evolutionary transformation. Resistance began to crack. As more evidence emerged, fear slowly transformed into curiosity. Scientific communities that initially rejected the research now wanted to understand it. Governments that threatened legal action began requesting detailed reports. Dr. Yoon Seo Park played a crucial role in managing public communication. Her calm explanations and clear scientific presentations helped demystify the complex genetic protocol. She became the human face of this extraordinary scientific breakthrough. The breakthrough wasn't just scientific. It was a moment of collective human potential. The genetic protocol represented more than a medical advancement. It was a promise of what humanity could become. Global resistance slowly transformed into global curiosity. The initial fear began to give way to understanding. Scientists, politicians, and ordinary people started to see the protocol's potential to solve fundamental human challenges. Dr. Jae-Hwang Kim stood at the center of this global storm, calm and determined. He knew they were writing a new chapter in human history, a chapter that would redefine what it meant to be human. The transformation had moved beyond the laboratory. It was now a global conversation about human potential, evolution, and the future of our species. 5 years after the initial discovery, the world looked different. Cities pulsed with a new energy. People moved with unprecedented vitality. The genetic transformation had become more than a scientific breakthrough. It was a global reality. Dr. Jae-Hwang Kim. Space exploration programs received massive global support. Enhanced human capabilities made previously impossible missions suddenly achievable. Plans for Mars colonization moved from theoretical to practical. Ethical frameworks evolved. The genetic protocol wasn't about creating superiority, but about unlocking human potential. Every individual had the choice to participate. No one was forced. The transformation remained a personal decision. Medical systems worldwide transformed. Hospitals became centers of human potential development. Treatments focused on enhancement, rather than just healing. Preventative care became the primary medical approach. Global education systems were completely redesigned. Learning became a lifelong, personalized journey. Traditional age-based education disappeared. People learned based on their individual potential and interests. The extraterrestrial observers noted each development with quiet satisfaction. Humanity was demonstrating precisely the qualities they had hoped to see: adaptability, curiosity, collective growth. Environmental restoration accelerated. Enhanced human capabilities brought innovative solutions to complex ecological challenges. Sustainable technologies emerged rapidly. The planet began healing faster than anyone had anticipated. Dr. Kim received numerous global honors, but he remained humble. He understood that the discovery was more about collective human potential than individual achievement. As the years passed, humanity looked different. Not physically different, but fundamentally transformed. The way people thought, worked, loved, and understood themselves had changed dramatically. The genetic protocol had done more than enhance human capabilities. It had invited humanity to reimagine its own potential, to see beyond current limitations, to understand that evolution was not just a biological process but a conscious choice. Global communication networks buzzed with excitement. Humanity was preparing for something bigger, something that would connect them to a larger cosmic community. Dr. Jae-Hwang Kim looked out over the global conference, seeing faces filled with hope, curiosity, and unlimited potential. The evolutionary leap had begun, and humanity was ready. The transformation was complete. The future had arrived.